Good afternoon, boys and girls. It's the North Carolina Vinyl Picker Show, and it's on Monday. I was building my new old desk that I got from Joey, my niece's husband. I want to give him a big shout out to Joey for helping me out and getting all this new desk. I can go ahead and you'll have a new background behind me. I'm sitting in the corner now, not over here. I got quite a bit to go through today. We got some new pickups. We got record store day. I want to talk about that just for a second. I'm going to pull five concerts. We're going to do some shout outs. And we're going to go ahead and go a deep dive into the top 12 guitarists. Yeah, that's what we're going to do today. So here we go. We'll start off with the new pickups. These are the new pickups that I found this week. And I got this one actually in the mail. It came from Howard County Library System. That's pretty cool. Meola, Elysium. This is a very good. Very nice. This one here, Kevin Peake, Awakenings. This is his first solo album. Kevin Peake was the guitar player for Sky. Yeah. That's a very good album. I want to get his second album, and I got it coming in the mail. Actually, I'll show it next week. This is my second copy of this one. This is Chris Squire. Fish Out of Water, his first solo album. And this is a promo. You can see here, it's a white label. I'm sorry, it's not a white label. But the other promo I have has a different promo sticker on it. So I think I'll be keeping this one as well. So I have two promos of Chris Squire's album, which is probably a top 25 album for me of all time. Supertramp, Cannonball, 12-inch. This was a nice pickup. And it was in, it was on Discogs, I think, or eBay, and it had a really low price, like $3 or something. The guy said it was marked up. So I brought it home, put it in the Humming Guru, and it plays great. No issues. So I got this one for about $5, $6 with shipping, something like that. This is a band I've been listening to for a very long time. I'm not sure who turned me on to this. It might have been my friend John. But this is Exchange. I have all their CDs. Well, at least I have 3 of them. And this is the only time I ever seen one that was one of their albums on vinyl. So I scooped it up because it was during the CD era, 1988. So this is pretty rare to find one on vinyl, that's for sure. This is a great jazz fusion band. Picked up a couple of Joni Mitchell's. This is, picked them up over here in close to my house. Chalk mark in a rainstorm. Yeah, it's a nice Joni album. I didn't have this one. This one of her later albums, and the next one I'm going to show you I didn't have as well. I didn't have Wild Things Run Fast, and he had. This is a great little store. Play It Again Records. I think it's in Valdez, North Carolina. They have a large section of $5 records. You go in behind the magic wall of CDs, and then behind there's a huge amount of vinyl back there that are $5 a piece. Picked this one up. I didn't get it there, but I got it somewhere else. This is Too Old to Rock and Roll, Too Young to Die. I got this online. I think I came in from eBay. Picked it up for like $5. Didn't have this one. There's about 3 more Jethro Tull vinyl albums I don't have that I want to add to my collection. This is David Bedford. He's played a lot with Mike Oldfield. Matter of fact, Mike Oldfield's on this record. I gave it a spin and I played it. It was a hard listen. It was a hard listen. So I'm not sure I'll be playing this again, and I might just move this on to somebody else. That's what I'm thinking. In my store, in the Big Cheap Vinyl 57 in Discogs. So check me out. Sky. This is a good album. This is one of their final albums, Cadmium. Of course, this has Tristan Fry and Kevin Peake and all the John Williams, all the same guys, Herbie Flowers. If you don't know Sky, they're a great band. Kind of classical, kind of proggish. It's a good album. One I didn't have in my collection. The only 2 I'm missing now is Masterpieces, which is their best of. And I don't have Sky 5 Live, which I'll end up getting them. It's a matter of time because they're super cheap. You can get them for like $3. You pay more for shipping than you do what the album's worth. And this one here actually came in warped. But it, it plays okay, but it's warped. It's, the needle jumps a little bit. It's Mahavishnu live, Between Nothingness and Eternity. I wanted this to be minty mint, that's for sure, but it wasn't. This was the one I wanted all week to be the banger of the week. This is the Canadian press, so if you don't know this cover and you're looking at it like, what's that? It's a Canadian issue, so it's a little bit different. Still has the 24 all the way around, but it's, it's a Canadian issue. It sounds pretty good at times, and other times it's kind of like, ooh, like riding a roller coaster. So there you go. Those are my pickups for the week. So it wasn't a huge amount, but it was a good amount. And in order to get those, I had to sell some. So I went ahead and sold some records this week, and some CDs, and some Blu-rays, and some DVDs. And they're all in the store. If you want to go to Discogs and check my store out, go right ahead. You'll see a lot of good deals. When I put something into Discogs, I check to see what the lowest price is, and we're coming from the United States, and then include my shipping, and then I underbid everybody. So every time I put something in, I underbid it. And then once a month, I go through the Discogs, and I make sure that I'm still at the lowest price, and quality-wise as well, too. So there you go. It's time to do 5 concerts. I'm just hoping my dogs don't start barking and become a pain. This one here says Genesis, and this one here is from 1982. So I think this is the, what was 82? 82 Genesis. That must have been Abacab, eh? Must have been Abacab. Must have been the Abacab tour. And it says here the ticket was $10.50. There you go. The next one in the Magic Bucket. Cellar Door presents, looks like the Doobie Brothers. Yeah, I think so. $8, and this was date was 1979, so that would have been over in the Hampton Coliseum in Virginia. Yep, it says Coliseum on here, so I knew where it was, and I also knew where I was in '79. So there you go, back in Baltimore. But I saw this at the Capitol Center, I think. No, it was Coliseum, Hampton Coliseum. What else here we got? We got L.D. Meola, Elegant Gypsy, and more. And actually, today is the actual anniversary of that. February 20th, 2015, I went with my nephew 8 years ago today. I went and saw L.D. Meola. The only time I ever seen L.D. Meola. And L.D. Meola very well could be my number one guitarist. We'll have to see here in just a little bit, because we're going to knock him down tonight. We're going to my top 12 favorite guitars. My top 12 favorite guitars. They might not be your top 12, and some of the greatest guitar heroes of all time probably won't be on my list because I don't listen to them. But I'm going to give you my top 12, and I know you can't wait for that. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. We got two more. Evening with Yes. Bob Carr Performing Arts Center, August the 3rd, 2014. And this ticket was $59.50. And this is a show I went with my daughter. And I took her over to Clearwater, I believe. No. Bob Carr? No, this is when I seen Yes with my friend John from Canada. Yeah, he was still, I think he had came down that time and we went to the show. And it was like $60. And it was in 2014. So that was 7 years ago. Do the math, Art. So that'd be 4, and yeah, something like that. It was a long time ago. 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago? 9 years ago. Cool show. Last time I saw Chris Squire before he died, I can remember that thunderous bass. Holy freaking moly, as old goat would say. We got to get one more in here. I don't want to look. I want it to be fresh. Uh-oh. Now we're talking Genesis. This is Brendan Byrne Arena. This is the one I saw in New Jersey. $12.50. How did them people make any money back then? The economy was different. That's why. Gas was a quarter. Loaf of bread was a nickel. No, it's not. It wasn't that cheap, but it was pretty cheap back then. Okay, there's my top 5 right there. I'm going to put those in the pack. And we're getting down to the bottom. We only got maybe a couple weeks left. And then I'm going to have to try to remember which tickets I don't have for what shows. Wow, that's going to be difficult. Maybe I can pull 5 out of my butt. We'll see. Okay, so that's it for that. Moving on. I hope you're still staying with me. If you like my show, make sure and hit the bell and subscribe. Subscribe. So that way you'll, next time North Carolina Vinyl Picker's on, you'll get an alert on your phone, or somebody will call you on the phone, or somebody will knock on your door and say, hey, the picker's on, Okay, then you'll run and watch me and enjoy the show. Like that. Yeah. So shout outs, the old goat. I want to shout out the old goat this week. And he has got a great channel. So if you get a chance, sub him up and check him out. He's got several different channels. He does a 3D channel. He goes out into the woods and picks mushrooms and does all kinds of stuff. And he shows records, and yeah, and he'll show you how to make chili, and he does all kinds. He's a mastermind, that guy. He just shows it all. Yeah. There's my shout out for the week. I'm gonna give you a shout out every week. So sub up the old goat vinyl. Yeah, old goat. Are you ready for the top 12 guitars? Well, first of all, we're going to talk about Record Store Day. Record Store Day is coming up in April, and there's only 2 on there that I saw. It was Yes Live in Tennessee from the 70s, and there was Porcupine Tree on there live, which only has like 800 copies. But today I found out that somebody that's going to be close by me is going to be having Record Store Day, like down in Hickory. Yeah, down in Hickory. So I'll be able to go down there, Far Out Records in Hickory, down on Main Street, across from the Hickory Tavern, next door to the Hickory Saloon, down by the railroad track. You can't miss the place. He used to be down the street, but now he moved up the street a little bit. And yeah, you got to go in and check out his store. He's got a bunch of great vinyl in there, and he's got other things too. He's got 8 tracks and cassettes, and he's got he's got posters. He's got Fungo Pops. He's got all kinds of shit. So yeah, check out the store there in Hickory, and I believe he's going to be a Record Store Day, so I'll go down there and stand in line. I want to get that Porcupine Tree. He better buy 5 copies. I don't think anybody else listens to Porcupine Tree in Hickory, North Carolina. So I don't know. We'll see. You never know. Okay, so these are my 5 artists that didn't make my top 12. So these are on the back burner. These are exceptional artists, but they didn't make the top 12. My top 12. Jane Shafer, he is Norwegian, I believe. I started listening to him last year, and I picked up probably about 4 of his albums, and he is just an incredible guitar player. So if you love guitar players, then you would really dig this guy here. Jane Shafer. That's a cool picture, too. How about this man? Everybody should know him. Alan Holdsworth. Yeah, he played a lot of bands. He played with Tempest. He played with Curved Air. He played by himself. He played with UK. He has a string of his own albums. He played with Soft Machine. He played with all kinds of bands. And yeah, so, and he died young. He was a beer enthusiast, and maybe he had too many of them. I don't know. But anyway, it's an excellent album. Carlos Santana, Mahavishnu, John McLaughlin, and Carlos Santana, John McLaughlin, is the Love, Devotion, Surrender. This is a fantastic album. And Carlos Santana is on here, and John McLaughlin. And those guys are 2 of my favorite guitarists. They're on 1 album. And these guys didn't make my top 12. But there you go. Gotta love them. Stanley Jordan, another outstanding guitar player who doesn't get any love in the vinyl community. I never heard anybody talk about him except myself. He's a jazz guitarist, and he's really awesome. And this is on a Blue Note. And if you get a chance to, this album you can pick up for like $5 anywhere. And anywhere that sells used jazz, you'll probably have a copy of this in there. I think I have 2, and I think I have 1 in my store. So there you go. Stanley Jordan. This guy here is Teresa Ryan. I think that's how you pronounce that. And he's another exceptional guitarist that I started listening to this year on ECM. And I watched a guy on YouTube he talked about this guy for over an hour, and I watched his special. But I already had this album, and I think I have 2 of his albums. But they're expensive. They're not cheap albums. So, you know me, I usually buy albums that are $5 and $10 and under. So, yeah, these. If I find these albums and they're priced right, then I'll pick them up. So those are the 5 artists that didn't make the top 12. So now we're going to talk about the top 12. And we're coming in at 15 minutes. So I'm going to try to wrap this up around 20. Christian Valenzuela. I've been listening to this man for a long time. This album is not available on vinyl. And it's Acoustic Rain. And I've tried to get a hold of a friend of his so that way I can find out. Because I had found another copy of another best of album that he put out for the Florida Hospital in Florida. But I'm sorry about the glare, but it's a CD. So there you go. Christian Valenzuela. He's an awesome guitar player. I've seen this album on eBay. I think I might even have a copy of this in my store. Maybe not. I'm not sure. It's not easy to find. Anyway, yeah, if you can find it, you get a copy of it fairly cheap. Sometimes it goes for a lot of money. It's on Scarab Music. I think he put it out on his own label. So it's not something that was released on Atlantic or nothing. So there you go. Christian Valenzuela coming in at number 12. Coming in at number 11. Another awesome guitar player. You're going to see a pattern here. Borelli Lagreen, jazz guitarist extraordinaire. This is my favorite album of his. I just got this not too long ago. I've had I have the cassette. I have the CD, which I've probably worn out. And that might be the one I have in my store. And because I did one of these 2 guys. I think it might have been Christian though. And this album here is just tremendous. It sounds so good on vinyl. So it's just beautiful. Sounds a lot better than it does on the CD. But if you can find this album is for cheap too. This is like a $5 record on eBay all day long. So if you can find this record and it's on Blue Note, pick it up. He's exceptional. Where we at? Coming in at number 10, I think. That Lindsey Buckingham. I love the way he picks his guitar. He doesn't play with a pick. He finger picks, I guess he'd call it. This is his album, Go Insane. I love all his solo stuff. He's got a new album that came out like a year ago. And then he had an album he came out with the late Christy McVie like 3 or 4 years ago. That's really good. And then all his work with Fleetwood Mac. And yeah, this one here is like one of my personal favorites. I like this album a lot. It's pretty weird. It's a good album. Coming in at number 9, John McLaughlin. We were just talking about John McLaughlin. And this is Belo Horizonte. And yes, he is on my top 12. I fooled you, didn't I? Coming in at number 9, John McLaughlin. Mahavishnu John McLaughlin. This is Belo Horizonte. This is the tour that I seen. I saw him live in Connecticut a long time ago in the 80s. This album came out in 81. And that was about the time I saw him. So yeah, you can find this album. He's awesome. You can find anything by him. It's awesome. Or you can find him with Mahavishnu Orchestra. Coming in number 8, Mood Madness, Camel, Andy Latimer. Guitar player, awesome guitar player. Top 5 band for me, Camel. Andy Latimer, as far as I know, has never produced a solo album. So yeah, coming in at number 8 is Andy Latimer from Camel. What's going to be number 7? Oh, how about some Jimmy Page? Jimmy Page, and you're looking at Houses of the Holy, my favorite Led Zeppelin album. I don't care for Jimmy Page's solo work or the stuff he did after Zeppelin with Robert Plant, but the stuff he did with Led Zeppelin is just incredible. And I love Jimmy Page with Led Zeppelin, and he made the list, and he come in at number 7. Coming in at number 6. Yes, I saw him play. David Gilmour. This is a promo of David's first solo album. I love all his solo stuff, and I love just about all of Pink Floyd stuff. And I seen Pink Floyd with my nephew, like I've said before. I think it was 91, and the Division tour, Division Bell. Could have been 92. It was right around there. It was after I got back from Desert Storm. Okay, coming in at number 5, Mr. Steve Hackett. My favorite Steve Hackett album, Spectral Mornings. And yeah, I've seen Steve Hackett, I think 3 times I've seen him. And I've seen him twice with Genesis. So there you go. I've seen him 5 times. My math's pretty good today, isn't it? Not too bad. Coming in 20 minutes. Oh, we're over. Overtime. We're at overtime. Number 4, Pat Metheny. Whoo, I've been listening to Pat Metheny for 50 years. Yeah, 50 years. Been listening to him since junior high. Yeah. This is American Garage, of course. Great album. And I think I'll throw it on again. I've probably heard it 50 times, but I'll probably play it again. I love all his stuff. All his albums are fantastic, except for the ones where he starts to play with other people. And some of them are, I don't know, mid to late century jazz musicians that I don't listen to. So I'm not real keen on those. But I do like all his solo stuff. And of course, the Pat Metheny group that he was with, Mark Egan and the boys. Coming in number 3. We just lost him a few months ago. Mr. Jeff Beck, and I didn't ever got a chance to see him. I would have loved to see Jeff Beck. I like his later stuff, his jazz fusion stuff the best. This album, Blow by Blow, Live, are probably my 3 favorites. And I love Guitar Shop, and there's about 2 or 3 others I really love. His early stuff, his 60s stuff, his Yardbird stuff, not as much. But his fusion stuff, because that's where my heart lies a little bit, actually quite a bit. The stuff, everything behind me, all them records back there, it's all fusion music. So there you go. Has its own section in my music room, and over here I have my rock. But my fusion's getting almost as much as my rock stuff, because every time I go, every 3 months, I go through my records and I do a purge. It sounds a little crazy, I know, but I go through the purge, and then I pull them out and I put them in my store. If you're not going to listen to it, why hoard it? Why keep it here? Try to move it on to somebody else. That's my thing. And then I can pick up more Porcupine Tree. Yeah, more Steven Wilson. Oh, did I give away something? Oh, number 2. And I've said before, he's my number 1. But today, he's coming in at number 2. Some days he comes in at number 1. Some days he comes in at number 2. Al Di Meola, fresh, hot promo of Elegant Gypsy. Like I said 100 times, I saw him live. I just showed you the ticket, and it was in Orlando, Florida, close to where I used to live. So there you go. Elegant Gypsy. Coming in number 2, the man, Al Di Meola. So there can only be a 1. There can only be 1. Just like Highlander, there can only be 1. And it has to be Mr. Steven Wilson. Yeah. This is Steven Wilson's album, The Raven. And They Refuse to Sing. And what an album. This is a must-have album right here. Must-have. All his solo albums are fantastic. Every one of them. First one to the last one. Insurgentes, all of them. All the stuff with Porcupine Tree is outstanding. I saw him live with Porcupine Tree, and I've seen him twice live by himself. And this year, his new album's coming out. He's going on tour. And I don't care how far I got to go, but I'm going to the show. So there you go. Yeah. And I got this right here. Ooh, coming in hot. This is a 45 of Steven Wilson that I picked up. And this one here is Happiness Part 3, Awkward Silence. Yeah. That's pretty cool. I figured I'd show it to you. Since it's right here, I'm in my new studio. Yeah, I'm in my new table. I love it. I got it all set up. I got my Humming Guru right here. I got my new records here. I got my 4K Blu-ray right here. I got my pen and pencil stuff. I got my camera. I got my records. I got my glow light. I got my glow light here. I can show you real quick. I know. Oh, yeah, I might be losing a few people. Oh, look at that. Huh? That's pretty cool, isn't it? It turns green, too. Here it goes. There you go. North Carolina vinyl picker. I'm getting ready to sign off. So y'all have a good rest of your evening. And I'll be back next weekend with a fresh finds. And we'll do some more concert stuff. And till I see you again, support them troops out there, and I'll be talking to you soon. I'll see you next week, and unless something breaks during the weekend, I got to show you something. Something comes in hot, or I find something out on the street, I'll bring it to you during the week. Other than that, take care. North Carolina Vinyl Picker out.